Here are today's top stories. The latest Social Weather Stations or SWS survey shows fewer Filipino families have reported being victimized by crimes and violence. The House of Representatives begins deliberations on the proposed 2019 national budget. A shipment of affordable vegetables from Bukidnon arrives in Manila to be sold to the public by the Department of Agriculture. And up-and-coming archer wins the first Batang Pinoy gold medal for the province of South Cotabato. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Fewer Filipino families have reported being victimized by crimes and violence based on a recent survey by the Social Weather Stations or SWS. The SWS survey showed that 5.3% or about 1.2 million families reported being victims of pickpocketing, robbery, break-ins, carnapping, and physical violence within the past 6 months. This is the lowest rate since the record low 3.7% in June of 2017. Last March, the number of victims was at 1.5 million or 6.6%. The SWS also noted declines in the number of victims of property crimes, such as street robbery or carnappers and physical violence. Meanwhile, 41% of respondents agree there are drug addicts in their neighborhood, from 40% last March and 42% in December 2017. There was also a slight increase in the number of those who fear burglary and a small decrease among those who are afraid of break-ins. Malacanang has welcomed the SWS survey, noting that Filipinos are saying they feel safer now as the government continues its campaign against criminality. At least 67 persons have been confirmed dead and 63 others missing in the entire Cordillera region as of Wednesday, mostly in the mining town of Itogon, where a major landslide occurred due to the onslaught of Typhoon Ompong. Rom Dulfo has the story.
The death toll due to Typhoon Ompong has risen to 67 in the entire Cordillera region, while 63 others were reported missing as of Wednesday noon. DILG Regional Director Marlo Iringan says of the 63 missing persons, 59 are in Itogon and 4 are in Baguio City. Iringan says the number of casualties remains fluid as authorities continue to receive reports of missing persons. At present, personnel from the AFP, PNP, BFP, private volunteers, including miners, are collaborating with each other in the search and recovery operations on Ground Zero. On Tuesday, political advisor and Secretary Francis Tolentino told the media that the operation is still a rescue operation relating past experiences in Nepal, China, and other countries where survivors were still rescued several weeks after being buried underground. Meanwhile, DA reports that the damage and losses to agriculture sector caused by Typhoon Ompong have reached an estimated 16.8 billion pesos. Damage and losses in rice are now pegged at over 11 billion pesos. Damage and losses to fisheries have amounted to almost 7 million pesos for fish production. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
President Rodrigo Duterte has returned the National Food Authority and 2 other agencies to the Department of Agriculture or DA. Duterte signed Executive Order number 62, which transfers the NFA, the Philippine Coconut Authority, and the Fertilizer and Pesticides Authority to the DA. The 3EO organizes the NFA Council by designating the Agriculture Secretary as chairman, the NFA Administrator as vice chairman, and a representative from the Office of the President, the Secretaries of Finance, and the Department of Social Welfare and Development as members of the Council. The reorganization happens amid moves to improve efficiency in food production as the country deals with issues in rice supply. Earlier, presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque hoped that allowing the importation of rice and other crops will compensate for the agriculture losses brought about by Typhoon Ompong. He is also counting on the government's institutional steps, such as simplifying and streamlining the licensing procedures for rice imports to address food supply issues and bring inflation down. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security will ask Facebook to take down a page account that has been posting threats against a Mindanao-based journalist. Undersecretary Joel C. Egco says the task force is looking into the reported harassment of the page PhilLeaks against journalist Julie Alipala. Alipala, a veteran correspondent of the Philippine Daily Inquirer, was accused as a terrorist supporter and a paid propagandist of the bandit group Abu Sayyaf. She has been the subject of attack by PhilLeaks following the publication of her story on the alleged massacre of 7 peasants by the military on September 13. The National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, meanwhile, condemned the PhilLeaks page as a dubious group. The Mindanao Independent Press Council also called on authorities to investigate and prosecute the personalities behind the Facebook account. Former Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte has filed 2 additional libel cases against Senator Antonio Trillanes. The cases arose from the senator's accusation that the president's son is involved in the controversial 6.4 billion peso Shabu shipment. Legal counsel attorney Rainier Madrid says Trillanes reportedly made the accusations in 2 broadcast interviews, adding that he called Duterte a big-time drug lord. Trillanes is now facing a total of 4 libel cases, including 1 from attorney Man Scarpio. Madrid, meanwhile, chided Trillanes for planning to file a motion to move the libel proceedings from Davao City. This as the senator claimed prosecutors and justices in Davao City are partial towards the Dutertes due to the allowances given by the LGU. Madrid maintains that all prosecutors and justices in the country are given allowances by the government. Still to come, the House of Representatives begins deliberations on the proposed 2019 national budget. A shipment of affordable vegetables from Bukidnon arrives in Manila to be sold to the public by the Department of Agriculture. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
I'm still labeling it as rescue operations because I am not giving up hope that there are survivors. There were incidents in Nepal, there were incidents in China, wherein more than 2 weeks elapsed, survivors were found. This is a place where there is water, and water is one item you need to survive. The Secretary of Environment yesterday already issued an order stopping illegal mining operations. You have to take into consideration that the government really prepared for this typhoon. It hit Hong Kong, it hit Macau, intensity 12. The pathway of Hong Kong is Isabela, Cagayan corridor. Isabela, we had 0 casualty. Cagayan, we had 1 by heart attack.
The House of Representatives has started its plenary deliberations on the proposed 3.75 trillion peso national budget for 2019. This comes after the budget deliberation was stalled since Monday due to claims of billions worth of insertions in the budget of some lawmakers. House Appropriations Committee Vice Chairman Maria Carmen Zamora sponsored House Bill number 8169, or the 2019 General Appropriations Bill, on the floor. Zamora said the cash-based budget is equivalent to 19% of gross domestic product, which is marginally higher compared to the 18.9% in 2018. On Tuesday, the House approved the realignment of at least 52 billion pesos of the Department of Public Works and Highways budget for 2019 to fund various programs of other government agencies. The lower chamber is expected to pass the budget on 3rd and final reading by October 12 before going on a congressional break. Economic managers hailed the Philippine economy's resiliency amid challenges such as inflation and a higher budget deficit. Miguel Hill has the story.
The Philippines is currently experiencing challenges such as elevated inflation and current account deficit, but Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III said this is just a phase and the economy remains strong. The rate of price increases averaged 4.8% in the first 8 months this year, higher than government's 2 to 4% target band until 2020. This was traced to faster inflation rate of basic commodities due to supply issues. The country ended 2017 with a current account deficit amounting to $2.5 billion after having surpluses in the past decade. Authorities pointed this to higher importation due to increased domestic demand as the domestic economy continues to expand. Also, the government has been posting increases in its budget gap due to increased infrastructure spending as part of its Build, Build, Build program. Dominguez said the domestic economy remains resilient due to the improvement in fiscal health, with the revenue collection still on an upward trend, continued improvement of investment grade rating, and low debt to gross domestic product ratio, which is currently at around 42% from over 70% in the past. Additional boost is the healthy banking system and a high gross international reserves amounting to some $77.83 billion. Dominguez said the private sector is also a plus since it is acting very rationally by paying and prepaying their foreign currency denominated obligations. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
The first shipment of about 8 tons of vegetables has arrived in Manila from Bukidnon. Among the high-value crops in the shipment are carrots, cabbage, chili peppers, sayote, Chinese cabbage, and radish. The vegetables come from Marayon region in Talakag, Bukidnon. Farmers in Talakad reportedly have difficulty transporting their products to markets. Under the Agricultural Credit Policy Council, the Farmers Association of Talakag has granted the initial loan of 20 million pesos for their farm produce to be sold. Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol says the vegetables arrived in time for the Tienda Gulay para sa Masa to be held on September 21 and 22nd. These vegetables are sold at lower prices than those from Northern Luzon. San Fabian Town in Pangasinan is the latest to declare a state of calamity due to damage sustained from Typhoon Ompong. The municipal government has reported about 300 million pesos worth of damage to agriculture and infrastructure and affecting more than 25,000 individuals. Engineer Lope Hugilion, head of the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, says some 2,500 hectares of rice field were devastated, as well as some plantations of corn, other high-value crops, and aquaculture. He explained that the typhoon's heavy rains, especially in Benguet province that is connected with the Bued River tributary of the town, have caused flash floods with depths of 4 to 8 feet. The flash floods also affected infrastructure, including the Kayanga Bridge that collapsed due to the rush of water. Floods have subsided as of Wednesday. Meanwhile, no casualties were reported aside from an old man who died of a lingering illness. Police tagged a criminal group in Sunday's bomb attack in General Santos City that left 8 people wounded. Police Regional Office Director Eliseo Rasco says investigators are looking at the Nilong Group as the perpetrators behind the bomb blast in front of a clinic in Makara Junction. The Nilong Group was linked to a robbery, illegal drug trafficking, gun for hire, and other criminal activities in the area. The group was allegedly allied with the Sarangani-based terror group Ansar al-Khilafa Philippines, which is part of the Maute Group. Rasco said the Nilong Group could have been hired to stage the attack, which is motivated by a family-related conflict. Meanwhile, police had filed double murder and multiple frustrated murder charges against 13 leaders and members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters in connection with the September 2nd bomb blast in Isulan. Police earlier filed separate multiple murder and multiple frustrated murder cases against 25 BIFF leaders and members in connection with the August 28 attack. Up next, the DILG mulls holding special elections to fill up vacated positions in the Sangguniang Kabataan. And up-and-coming archer wins the first Batang Pinoy gold medal for the province of South Cotabato. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
This is only the beginning. Sugod pa lang eh.
Maraming ka nandito ngayon, nakatulong po sa mga katawan dito po at masaya din kami dahil nakatikim kami ng isda na mas mababa ang presyo. Salamat po kay Presidente Digo. Salamat po. Mabot na po dito ang iyong servisyo.
So this will be a one-stop shop for all of the agricultural needs of the consumers involved. And this will be a continuing program. Hindi ito ningas kuko. We will institutionalize this. Pag-iniinggi mo natin sa buong karon, himuon na mo sa tapok Pilipinas. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. And given the reaction of the people involved, and I have to admit, I was overwhelmed by the reaction of the people.
We have to move forward at talaga tanggapin natin ang magandang kinabukasan pamagitan ng pagtanggap sa mga murang bilihin na nangyari ngayon sa paligid dito. Salamat po.
Ano na ni, 135. Hindi may namin ng kilo. Dito sa bulto, abutin ang tubig dito. Ang kilo. Kaya laking bagay, meron ganito ba? Sana araw-araw meron ganito. Salamat.
Bohol Fish Market, ang rating na ko, in a scale of 1 to 10 is 11. Very successful. Thank you.
The Department of Interior and Local Government is making a list of vacant positions in the Sangguniang Kabataan in barangays all over the country. This after many SK councilors are reported to leave their posts aside from those vacated due to disqualifications. Once the DILG collates the list of vacant SK positions, it will determine whether it will appoint new members or hold special elections. Julius Gutierrez, Executive Director of the National Youth Commission, says a likely reason is that SK councilors do not receive honorarium. He, however, stressed that serving in the SK is voluntary work aimed at tapping the youth in community service. They also happen to receive PhilHealth coverage and free tuition in public tertiary schools. And in the news abroad, a Japanese businessman would be the first private and paying customer to ride around the moon. American company SpaceX revealed that Yusaku Maezawa, a Japanese billionaire, would ride around the moon aboard the company's next-generation rocket. Maezawa, the founder of Japan's largest online clothing retailer site, ZozoTown, suggested the flight would take place as early as 2023. SpaceX founder Elon Musk tweeted that Maezawa would also invite about 8 artists to board the ship. The company considered the would-be trip an important step towards enabling access for everyday people who dream of traveling to outer space. Maezawa will fly around the moon on board the big Falcon rocket, which is still in development. A rising archer from the South Cotabato town of Norala delivered the first gold medal for the province in the 2018 Batang Pinoy National Championship in Baguio City. Quinn Meyer Loreno, grade 5 pupil of the Puti Elementary School, topped the Olympic round Yeoman Boys category during the opening matches held at Benguet State University. The 10-year-old Loreno, who qualified for the national finals for the first time, also snatched a bronze medal in the single FITA event. Loreno's feat anchored the South Cotabato delegation's 5-medal haul in archery in the opening day of the week-long games. Rayan Gaceno won a silver medal in Olympic round Bowman Girls category and a bronze in a single FITA Bowman Girls, while Grace Signacion took the silver medal in the single Fita Yeoman girls. The heritage churches in Ilocos Norte were among those damaged by the onslaught of Typhoon Ompong. The Diocese of Lawag is asking for help to rehabilitate these churches. More on this from Maricor Zapata.
Despite being hardly hit by Typhoon Ompong, the province of Ilocos Norte has reported 0 casualty. This was mainly because of the preemptive evacuation called for by the provincial government to keep the people from harm. But the signal number 4 typhoon did not spare the people's houses, nor the heritage churches and seminary schools, especially in Lawag City, the province's capital. As such, Bishop Renato Mayugba of the Diocese of Lawag has sought the help of the Ilocos Norte government in clearing the church compounds and in repairing the structural damages on the historical churches. The bishop says it was good the residents cooperated with the provincial government's efforts to save them from the torrential typhoon. As of the moment, actual damages on the heritage churches with blown-off roofs and shattered windows and other facilities are being assessed for rebuilding and repair. Although the Catholic Church has a budget for rehabilitation, Bishop Mayugba says it may not be enough. He says the communities and the government's cooperation is needed still. The churches form part of the rich cultural heritage of the Ilocanos in this northern gateway of Luzon. Among these are the St. Augustine Church in Paway, the San Nicolas de Tolentino Parish Church in San Nicolas, the Santa Monica Church in Sarat, the St. Joseph Church in Dingras, and the St. Andrew the Apostle Church in Bacara Town. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's top stories. The latest Social Weather Station or SWS survey shows fewer Filipino families have reported being victimized by crimes and violence. The House of Representatives begin deliberations on the proposed 2019 national budget. A shipment of affordable vegetables from Bukidnon arrives in Manila to be sold to the public by the Department of Agriculture. And up-and-coming archer wins the first Batang Pinoy gold medal for the province of South Cotabato. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.